Hey guys, welcome back. So today's video is sponsored by the developers at Marvel Puzzle Quest, and it's a match 3 game where you get to collect and play with some of your favorite Marvel characters. And even though I tend to use Black Panther and Hulk on here a lot, there's a ton of characters for you to choose from. And it's free to play. You can join alliances with friends or start your own, and it has weekly events so the gameplay stays new and fresh. It's available to download now for free on your Apple or Amazon App Store, Google Play, and Steam. I got links in the description for you to download, so get started, get your roster popping, and make all your friends jealous by getting the good characters that they want. Alright, so jumping into the history of Black Panther versus Hulk, I had quite a few of you guys asking me to cover different instances, especially with Bruce Banner Hulk. So I figured why not, because in the past we kind of grazed over a little bit of Black Panther versus Amadeus Cho when he's the Hulk, and we'll talk about that more in a little bit. But what I really wanted to do with you guys making that request is go back and show you a few instances where Black Panther and Bruce Banner Hulk crossed paths and Hulk pretty much wrecked everything. And it's crazy because we're going to get into Bruce Banner Hulk versus Wakanda's full defenses. And we'll get to that, but to properly start this off, I want to start with Defenders issue number 84, because this is the first time that Black Panther sees Bruce Banner Hulk out. And at this point in time with the two characters, Black Panther, he knows about the Hulk, but when they cross paths here in Atlantis, he wasn't expecting to run into him. So now the way this happens, the Hulk, he's part of the Defenders team at this time, and he's in Atlantis on the tail end of a series called End of the Tunnel, where the Defenders just defeated one of their foes called the Unnameable, and Doctor Strange left shortly after, leaving Banner here with Namor. But the thing that brings Black Panther down here is he's investigating a shady deal between Wakanda and Atlantis. And for the longest time there's been a political tension between these two nations, and that tension didn't get any lighter when T'Challa found out that there were Wakandans selling technology to the Atlanteans without his approval. And not only were these deals going on behind his back, but he later then found out that Namor was secretly approving these deals, kind of giving the passive okay for his people to do this under the orders of increasing the security of Atlantis by any means necessary. And that order from him was kind of like a wink and nudge to say, go ahead and do it, but I'm not accountable to it if you get caught. And for Namor, that was for political reasons only, because Namor's the type of guy, like, if he gets caught by T'Challa, or better yet, when he gets caught, at that point he's more like, yeah, I did it, what you gonna do about it? But at this point, going up against Namor and Namor having home court advantage, T'Challa's like ridiculously outnumbered. So really, to save his own butt, it comes to the point where he comes across Banner and he releases the Hulk. And it's hilarious because Black Panther's first thought is like, man, I ain't know that was gonna be so fast and so violent, because he's heard about the Hulk before, but to see it is a whole nother thing. And right here, the Hulk really wasn't trying to fight him, he was just trying to get out of there. So he was actually helping Black Panther by beating up all the Atlanteans and making a way out. All Black Panther had to do really was stay behind Banner as he made an exit. And so now the next issue I want to jump to is Incredible Hulk number 507, which came out in 1999. And the way this issue reads, it's like a flashback. And when I read that issue of Defenders, I was like, hey, maybe that happened right before this issue of Hulk. But I doubt that it did, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But in this issue, he is coming from a Defenders mission and passing through Wakanda. And when I say passing through, I mean like just tearing down defenses like crazy. And the only thing that stops him is an old friend of his, Queen Divine Justice, who at this point in time is a member of the Dora Milaje, and she recognized him from back in the US where he nearly beat the mess out of Everett Ross, but we'll get to that in a little bit. And it takes him a minute to recognize her, but when he does, he stops tearing up stuff. But what we find out later is that the Hulk was subconsciously guided here as a plot through Killmonger. And because T'Challa was away at the time, Killmonger set up a GPS bug on the Hulk that would just go off and drive him crazy unless he stayed on this set path. And that set path led to Wakanda. But in this issue, thanks to Killmonger, we actually got to see what it's like to have the Hulk against the full defenses of Wakanda. And we know he just did it because he wants to see Wakanda broken into shambles. But for us as the reader, you know, we're always like, what if the Hulk went here? What would happen? What if the Hulk went to the most secure, heavily armed nation in the world and just went bare knuckles against their best defenses? Like, how would that go down? And we get that answer in this issue, because when Hulk goes against the Prowlers, like, he tears the Prowler robots into pieces. It's crazy. And on top of that, he took missiles, lasers, jets, all of that, and just kept going. And the only thing that stopped him was Queen Divine Justice calming him down, or else he would have just kept going. But one thing that's also overlooked from that same story is that Killmonger wanted the Hulk to go after Queen Divine Justice as well. He knew she was there, he also knew she was close to Black Panther, but he didn't realize that her and the Hulk had history before. And that's the one thing that stopped this plan from fully coming to fruition. And so now, as far as Black Panther going toe to toe with Bruce Banner Hulk, like when this actually happened, it wasn't a situation that the Black Panther was prepared for. And so if we jump back about a year to Black Panther issue number 15, I believe this came out about a year before Hulk issue 507. But I wanted to reference this issue specifically because it's the one reason why I believe that those two instances didn't happen back to back. And really how that issue of Hulk is set up just like a one-shot, explaining all the instances just in that one issue. You really just gotta piece together the information with other issues like this one to really understand where it takes place in relation to the other events. But here in Black Panther issue number 15, you have a run-in with Black Panther and Hulk where he's really here to save Everett Ross from getting smashed by the Hulk because of a cruel setup by Dr. Jericho Drum. And the way that Everett Ross got in this predicament is Dr. Jericho Drum dropped Everett Ross on Banner's head. And I wish this issue had a picture of that. Like that just sounds painful. I'd probably Hulk out too. But when this happens, T'Challa jumps in and he gets his hits in on the Hulk, but the blows that the Hulk is dishing out are like way harder. And he understands because he's seen at this point how violent Banner can get when he Hulks out. So all he really does is the only thing he can do in this situation and try to bring the Hulk's attention away from Everett. But he nearly gets crushed in the process. But it's here when we see Queen Divine Justice, who stops the Hulk and is like, hey, let's hit the club. And they bounce. Like literally, like for real. Like I am not making this up. And even furthermore, like they actually like really went to the club. Like that actually happened. But this is really part of what I was referencing as far as Hulk and Queen being such close friends and the reason why she's able to talk him down out of so many circumstances. They just connected. It's crazy. But as far as any run-ins between Black Panther and your Bruce Banner Hulk, Black Panther has always used a method of evasion. And he's 100% honest with himself because T'Challa knows that one punch from the Hulk could end his life. And he said that before, like no shame to it, that's just wisdom. But that's really the huge difference when you're talking about your Banner Hulk and your Amadeus Cho. Because when it comes to Banner and you're dealing with the Savage Hulk, like that unbridled power, like there is a very short list of people who are ready to exchange blows with that Hulk. And I'm not just talking about your Sentry, your Hyperion, or your Blue Marvel, but even taking into account physically smaller characters like Wolverine. And because of his adamantium bones and his healing factor, he was able to hold up for a short while and put up a respectable fight, at least in the 616. 1610, not so much. But Wolverine's another character who's much more durable. And with this character premiering going up against the Hulk, it was more of a testament to the beating that he could take. And everybody ain't built for that. But throughout all the years and the multiple experiences that T'Challa has had with the Hulk, it really leads me to believe when we jump forward to Civil War II, and we see T'Challa actually go toe-to-toe with Amadeus Cho. At this point, you really got to put in perspective the experience that T'Challa has fighting the previous Hulk with Bruce Banner. Because when we find out in that issue of Totally Awesome Hulk number 10 that T'Challa has his own Hulkbuster, it makes it hard to believe that after all these years that he built this suit just to face Cho. And we know this one because of many instances that we just discussed, but on top of that, T'Challa even goes as far to mention Banner while he's tracking down Amadeus Cho, saying that he witnessed firsthand Bruce Banner destroying hundreds of miles of Kenyan coastline. And once again, that is cutting it real close to Wakanda, because Kenya is right next to Wakanda, like southeast of it, facing the Indian Ocean. And T'Challa understands that you can't just call Queen Divine Justice and expect her to handle every Hulk situation, especially at this particular time with Banner being deceased and Amadeus Cho being the new Hulk. Like that's just not gonna work out. And it's for these reasons that it wasn't but a matter of time until T'Challa was gonna have to build a suit or figure out a deterrent to bring the fight to the Hulk so he could subdue him and put him away so he couldn't do any more damage. And so in the past, we talked about the different suits that Black Panther has and the different armors and the abilities of those armors, and we've even made comparisons between Black Panther's Hulkbuster and Iron Man's Hulkbusters for fair reasons, because both of them take a very similar approach at subduing the Hulk. It's just that Black Panther, with him having access to a vast amount of vibranium, it allows him to develop different features that Iron Man just couldn't, just because he doesn't have that element available. But even with this powerful armor that could absorb a vast amount of momentum and turn it into energy, like vibranium still has its breaking point, and there's only so much that this armor can take until it's torn to pieces. But even still, I really like that about this version, this first version of Black Panther's Hulkbuster armor, because the same way that the Hulk gets stronger the angrier he gets, the Panther suit gets stronger with every hit that it takes and all the momentum it absorbs and converts into energy. But even still, with that brilliant feature, it wasn't enough to stop the Hulk. Like, the Hulk takes the win once again, and when it's all said and done, like, T'Challa wasn't too happy about it. Like, I love the look on his face. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you feel like Black Panther will come up with another Hulkbuster suit and make improvements on it from what he learned in Civil War II? Personally, I think he will, and I can't wait to see that. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Don't forget to download Marvel Puzzle Quest. I got my link in the description. Just just hit that and you're in the game free to play. But like always guys, let's squad up in the comments and we'll do it again next time. Alright, later.